right, folks, what is going on? This is episode 644 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am Via Volo. Over here we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. And today we're going to talk some more Atlanta Falcons. A couple of Atlanta Falcons went down. It's probably, it's not going to say probably. I know I'm looking at it right now. It's more than just the ones I'm talking about on the, on the screen if you're watching this on the on the YouTube, the Rumble. But we're going to talk about that and give you my thoughts and opinions on some of these things. And also, just real quick, Georgia Southern is looking pretty sharp. I will give them a lot of credit. They're looking pretty sharp when it comes to their practices and scrimmages. I really can't wait to see them play. I'm kind of shooting towards to going to that UAB game down there in Paulson. I'm not too much about the Citadel game, but I really want to go to the UAB game. I think that's going to be a really good game to go to. But nevertheless, let's talk about these two injuries here and dibble and dab and a couple other ones. With that being said, Cordarrelle Patterson is going to be down for the first part of the season, probably the first week or so. And Matt Hennessy has been placed on IR. So, boy, if this is your first time here, welcome. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble, also on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, and Google Podcasts. Stitcher will be going down on August 29th. So if you're over there on Stitcher, try to make it over to the other avenues. I am in the process of moving to another avenue so we'll still have that fourth podcast avenue so you can go to. Hopefully that works out. Fingers crossed. But with that being said, it is just a good time for the year. Football season is starting and everybody is getting hyped, but unfortunately, injuries are a part of the game. Unfortunately, they are, and it really sucks. And Cordarrelle Patterson, at one point, this was a situation where it was a big deal when Cordarrelle Patterson went down, because we relied on him very heavily. But I think now with the moves that we've made, we don't have to worry about him rushing back so quick. We got Bijan Robinson now, Tyler Algier showing that he can run the ball pretty well. You got Mac Hollins coming in. You still got Drake London, Jonnu Smith, and Kyle Pitts. So offensively, we should be fine. But one thing about our offense is we're losing our offensive lineman. Matt Hennessy went down. He's on the IR. And that's going to be a pretty big blow because of depth. We need that depth. And the reason why we don't have, the reason why you want to have depth, because the offensive line is probably one of the most important aspects of football. Everything works together and it runs hand in hand, but you got to have the guys in the trenches. And Matt Hennessy played pretty well, ever since he's been on the field. He did lose his job to Drew Dahlman at one point, but at the same time, he was when you needed him, he came through. So it's a big blow because you want to have as many bodies that you can to go to the offensive line. So what does this mean? It's definitely going to be an issue for us because now, Jalen Mayfield is going to be our swing tackle. You're already down, and I didn't even mention this. You're already down one lineman with Ethan Greenidge. He's already down. So now you're probably looking at Matt Bergeron to basically take that left guard spot, which is fine. I think he's going to be fine in that position. I don't feel like this is a Jalen Mayfield situation because the problem with this, and this, like I said, I feel like this is probably one of the bigger, one of the big negatives of Coach Arthur Smith's tenure here at the Atlanta Falcons. He put Jalen Mayfield in a bad position. We already knew he was a tackle. They put him at guard, and he suffered his rookie year. But you see him at tackle, he looks a whole lot better at tackle. He's been actually blocking. He looks pretty good against, the Dolphins. And people will say, oh, that's just second, third, fourth string. You got to understand, Jalen Mayfield was like a second, third, fourth string guy, but he actually looked like a guy that can block. He looked like he knew where he was. He looked like he knew what he was doing. And that's what you want to see. So I don't want to move him out of the tackle spot. Let him continue to be a backup for Caleb McGarry. I think that's perfect for him. you just never know. Keep him on the squad for depth purposes. I mean, unless if he outplays his contract and you don't want to re-sign him because he's looked so good, but as a solid right tackle, you got him. It kind of makes me wonder, like once again, why did they end up trying to, why did they draft him and try to move him in the guard? Because the guard position is way different than the tackle position. And Matt Bergeron, well, he has the knack to switch positions. I mean, he talked about that as soon as he was drafted. Was he willing to move over? And from that point on, he seemed like he caught on much quicker than Jalen Mayfield. So with that being said, I think we're going to be fine, but we do need depth. And there's a few guys that are out there in free agency that are out, that are on the board that I would not be surprised if the Falcons pick up one or two, more likely probably just one guy if they haven't already. I know they picked up a good bit of guys from the XFL. Don't know if they're offensive linemen or whatever the case may be, but we do need at least one, maybe two more guys to come in and see how they fit. Just you never know. They may, make a splash and they can make the roster or whatever the case may be, because we do need at least one or two more bodies. So I'm really interested to see how that goes. Now, let's flip back to Cordarrelle Patterson. Love to see him to get back on the field as soon as possible. You want to see what he can do, because with all the other pieces that we have, that will be another person that the defense or the opposing defenses won't be able to stop. And I would love to see how well that will work, especially for a guy like Desmond Ridder. And he could use all the weapons that he can just so he can progress, because the jury is kind of out on him. People kind of saying he's this, he's that. I'm kind of like in the middle. Like, look, get a kid a chance to see what he can do. I'm not going to say he's going to sit here and lead us to the playoffs or whatever. I just think that if he don't make mistakes with the talent around him, he'll be fine. So hopefully by week 2, week 3, Cordarrelle Patterson will be back. That'll be really interesting, because trust me, I got a feeling that we're going to see Bijan Robinson and Cordarrelle Patterson on the field at the same time. And in some cases, you're probably going to see all three of them on the field with Algier on the field at the same time, and that's going to be a nightmare for defenses. Also, we still have Mike Hughes and Cordell Armstrong out. They're going to be out for a while, and both of them I think Mike Hughes and Cordell Patterson got soft tissue injuries, so don't tell her how long that's going to be. Also, Cordell Armstrong didn't say what his injury was, but I think he may be back for the Pittsburgh game. I think Armstrong's played fairly well. I mean, he's had his ups and downs, but he came on really late in the season last season after a couple of struggles. But it's good to see him back at it, to the point where it was good to see him back on the field, to where that he was able to redeem himself. But now he's down with injury. But we don't know how that's going to work. Now, the cornerback position is going to be kind of tough, because we're missing a lot of players. I don't know what Clark Phillips is doing. Don't know what in the world is Jeff Okudah when he comes back. So, like I said, the injuries part of this is kind of what it is. It's a little situation where it's kind of thin and is a part of the sport, and in some cases it sucks. It's just it is what it is, and you hate to see anybody go down, especially guys that are just this important, because the offensive line has been really good for the Falcons, and I can't start to begin to tell you about Cordarrelle Patterson. Ever since he came on the scene, it was a Falcon. He's been a little bit of everything for us: running back, receiver, punt return, kick return. He's done a little bit of everything. So fortunately, we have more bodies now that we don't have to rely on him so much. So he doesn't have to be rushed back, and so that helps. But Matt Hennessy, let's see how Bergeron comes in, and it looks like he's going to be the starter now, and it's going to be interesting to see how he plays with this offensive line, because a lot of promise there. It looks like he's ready to go, but we're not going to know until we actually see him. We'll probably see him in the Cincinnati game, and probably for a few snaps or whatever the case may be, maybe in the Pittsburgh game as well. But you want to get him out there so he'll know how the speed of the game really is, because it's going to come at him quick. You just ask Jalen Mayfield. He caught on. He had to catch on really quick and never really, got into the swing of things until this season. So you're talking about almost 3 years. It's kind of crazy. So if you like this commentary, I'm going to close it out here. So if you like this commentary, hit the like button. Share this podcast. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you think about these injuries, man. Are they that significant? Are they a huge blow? What is it? I think it's going to sting a little bit, but I think we're going to be fine. There's not that big of an issue to the point where it's going to be a real big issue to like it's going to handicap the team collectively, because thankfully we made a lot of moves in the offseason where we could sustain a little bit, but you never want to see any of you guys go down, especially offensive line. I mean, we already lost a handful of those guys already. You don't want to go through that. So if you like this video, if you like this podcast, hit me up, let me know, hit the like button, share this podcast, let people know what we're doing over here. I'm over here on YouTube and Rumble, also on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, Google Podcasts. Stitcher, once again, Stitcher will be going down. Stitcher will be going down at the end of the month. So try to find over to another podcast avenue. Also, the website is firstandframerates.com. And I can be found on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, where I mostly talk about things that don't make it to the show. All right, y'all, I'm going to get up out of here. Thank you guys once again. I really appreciate the support. I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy, and y'all be blessed. Peace.